of Silver versus Danielson, that
Yes.
main event, man, holy kicks.
SPD special for sure.
The SPD special with a side of kick and then some more kick to
and
boot.
some meat.
And some meat for Johnny Hungy because he definitely needed it, especially after getting his face kicked in by Danielson at the end of this match. But, man, I know you're a Danielson slappy. I got to get your thoughts on this match because it was so back and forth early on. I thought, man, like Silver looks awesome early on. He came out fired up, but Danielson really started putting it to him at the end. What do you think of this one overall, man? Because I really love this one too. It was so close with my match of the night tonight.
The main event Meat Man is back, man, and these styles clash so well together.
Perfect.
You know, they did had some nice ground and pound. They have some aggressive kicks, aggressive offense. And you know, when we first interviewed John Silver, like this was, I've compared him to Bryan Danielson many times. You know, Bryan Danielson being on my Mount Rushmore, and then when I started loving what John Silver was doing, right away I could see that. I could see Danielson and Silver, and you know, I was like, oh man, these guys gotta meet in the match, and they delivered. You know, I wanted a little bit more time of work, but you know, both guys got their offense in. Both guys looked strong. I loved when, you know, Silver had that hold on and he was getting kicked in the face, just going getting more, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
So the main event Meat Man deserving and earning that main event spot in his hometown.
Definitely.
Another one of those AEW or nods that they do so well for their talent and so well for their fans. But man, this was a kick fest for sure. And
dude,
Daniel and Bryan Danielson is just leaning into this every single week, just putting more fuel and more on this fire of his heel side, and it's getting better and better and better, man. And it almost like, you know, even though this wasn't a well fought match, it almost looked like Danielson barely broke a sweat.
Yeah.
And that's not a notch to anybody in this match, but you know, these guys did go back and forth, but that's just a credit to his stamina and his in-ring, you know, stamina. It's incredible.
Oh,
Jeez.
For sure. And while he did take a lot of offense from John Silver, this was a quick match, relatively speaking, for Bryan Danielson. You know, this wasn't his 30-minute battle. And I think that was to the match's credit. I think that we saw so much stuff in a 12 or 13-minute match where we were just like, man, like Silver can go so well. And he didn't look out of place in a ring with Bryan Danielson, which says so much about John Silver because, you know, Danielson is one of the greatest to ever do this. And, you know, John Silver going in there with him and holding his own and doing some stuff and really being in control of the offense for some portions of the match made, man, like Silver looks like he's a special guy in the future. He's going to be a big time part of this company for a long time, but
all about the budge,
man, for sure. But I just think that Danielson is at such a different level. The guy is just performing in his role and his heel character, you know, talking about, you know, I wrestle every week. I want to be the guy that's, you know, almost like the workhorse of this whole company, and prove to everybody that I'm the best wrestler on the planet. And he goes out there and does that, you know, every week. And while I don't want to see Hangman Page's first title reign be this short, you know, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Danielson is the champion in a couple weeks, you know, because Bryan Danielson is so on top of it and so great. And he's talking about getting a stable. He's talked about that before as well. And, you know, I think that Bryan Danielson with a belt, with a stable would be a lot of fun. But I just can't because my heart's with Hangman. But this Cowboy is just one of those things where it's like you watch Danielson wrestle every week and you just can't, you know, you can't question the guy is just a notch above everybody else in the ring right now. And he that rust, if he had any rust from his time away from WWE, it's gone. It's totally gone. You know, obviously the guy main evented WrestleMania last year, or this past year, but you know, he was still away for a little bit. And I think this guy just he shows every week why he's considered one of the best to ever do this. And I just love that him and Silver got to main event. It was a fun main event. And anytime Silver gets to main event something, you know it's going to be a blast just for his facial reactions. And like you said,
Oh
his sticking his
gosh,
tongue out at Danielson
such a
while he's got him in a
character.
hold. And like, it was just a blast, man. And I love this main event, one of my favorite in a long time, just for the people in it. You know, I thought it was a good show. And
Yeah,
then Danielson showed up. It was great.
and Danielson was my top performer of the night.
Good pick.
Not only because of the in-ring general work, but the mic work and the character work. The overall overall display of what he did tonight. And
Yeah.
so I know his promo was short and sweet, but it was impactful, and it set the stage for next week. And so just the way that he can methodically pace his matches now that he's a heel. I just love the work that he's doing,
Yeah.
and